Probably should have sang that last month when I started all that surrender work. Release and let go. So the good news is that we can. That we just simply open up to the experience of who we are. To be the divine, the presence of which we have arrived here to be, to become. In my experience in Science of Mind, in this study, religious science that we do, it really allows one to come into the experience that we know that life is a journey. Every one of us is on a journey. Every one of us is moving through our experience in the way that we choose and we allow it to be. Some of us are not willing to be in the experience. Some of us are in denial of having the experience. Some of us want to do a lot of work and energy about putting the attention and the focus on someone else so that we don't have to deal with our own experience. In the process that I moved through in this last month, I've recognized that prayer does work. Any prayer works. I highly recommend that you use the prayer that we are using, the affirmative prayer, the 5 steps of treatment. But I don't claim it to be the only form of prayer. Meister Eckhart says, if you were to just say thank you, that is prayer enough. So in this opportunity, as I move through that month of surrender, and we are moving into the next book, When the Soul Awakens, I know and I recognize that the awakening that each of us is available to must come through a process in this journey, and it looks often like surrender. What you're searching for is what is searching. This is a quote from St. Francis. What you are searching for is what is searching. The divine is already there within you. And I believe that this is what we are all searching for. We are all on this journey to recognize, identify, and be that divinity that we came here to be. I wanted to turn and twist this quote into 100 different ways. Each way would represent a level of understanding about this thing called life. And each interpretation would show another degree of experience of some headline in today's major news column. And don't you see it in all of the news and all of the headlines of everything that's going on in the world? That everywhere somebody is searching for that something. More likely than not, they don't even know what that something is, but they're searching. And what they're searching with is that which already is. So each twist, each turn would have been representative of every feeling, every emotion, and every twist that was in my experience this past month as I was working on the big S, surrender. Each line of every understanding, every interpretation, and every twist would have been uniquely individualized for every person in this congregation. I was going to set that quote up and make it personal just for you so that you could open up and identify this journey that you were on, this search that you were looking for. And then we'd be done. We'd be complete. And we could all move on into whatever way and or whatever direction that we wanted to go. Wouldn't that be nice? We could just be done. We could complete. Life would be answered. The wholeness would be made manifest. And God would be found. We just transform into enlightened beings. That would be the end. About 25 variations into this, I really found myself exhausted, confused, burned out, overwhelmed, and ready to quit. And there was only one more surrender that was left in me. The tank was empty, the battery charger was dysfunctional, and the internet connection was hacked and shut down. And all that was left was the search for self, that which was the searcher. To be alive now and to be sensitive of the state of the world is to realize that an old order is passing away. I joined a battle some years ago in some part of my training for enlightenment. The bugle call. The bugle call to arms was being broadcast in many New Thought workshops, seminars. The call to positive thinking. Create a new world. You can win at everything. You can influence others, you could build it, and they will come. Ask, and it will be given. Real power was at hand, and you deserve it all. That was the bugle call. And so many of us were running to New Thought centers. We were running into the Science of Mind. We were running into the bookstore and the latest and the greatest workshop and seminar. For the answer was at hand. There was a new era that was being brought forth. The litany of steps to take was the title of nearly every book in sales talk. There were 4 laws, there were 8 steps, there were 6 paths, there were 7 highly promoted qualities. Yes. Just do these now. Look upward. Avoid the news and the stories of the day. Wear purple on Thursday. And put cilantro in your power drink. Stretch each morning and visualize rainbows before going to sleep. It was all very esoteric. And it was blissful to walk this pathway. Or this pathway. Or maybe tomorrow's pathway. For each day brought a new discovery of the best yet to be. Just one more book, and I'll be there. Just one more seminar. One more workshop. One more path. And the answer would be found. Pretty soon, one can lose sight of the original search. Lose sight of the search party that started out to seek a better life, a new order, a movement toward enlightenment. What if? What if the search for enlightenment is enlightenment? What if living in the present, the now, is to know that you are the presence? The presence. What if living in the present is to know that you are the presence? The present is part of the time-space continuum. The human experience that we live in this world is based on time and space. The presence is past, present, and future, all wrapped up in the mystery of life. The presence is the mind of God, where something new is being awakened. In the mind of God, something new is being awakened eternally and infinitely. There is no end. Eternal, infinite, immortal. The mind of God is forever creating. There is no end. It always is, always was, and always will be. If there were an end, if we were able to somehow find that last workshop and there we would be at the end, Ernest Holmes says, this would be an eternal hell. Because the nature of the divine is that it must be creative. It must be forever, eternally, infinitely creating life anew. Birth 2012 was a wake-up call. Do you remember 2012? The Aztec calendar, the end of the world as we know it? And yet here we are. Because there is no end. So if that was the wake-up call, stop hitting the snooze button. The emergence of a new order is revealing itself in this world. Revealing itself in this world on this day and every day forward. And we didn't create it. And we can't stop it. There is something eternal and immortal that is living in the consciousness of each and every one. Our connection is this thing that I call soul. Our connection to this infinite, eternal oneness is what I call our soul. The inner and the invisible part of the personal self that is connected, engaged, and visioned through wholeness and oneness. There is no separation. The only separation that we know is that which we make up in our own mind. If you feel separate from life, if you feel separate from the presence, if you feel separate from the oneness, you made it up. Stop hitting the snooze button. Wake up. Like an alarm clock. You know, we keep hitting that snooze button only to avoid what is inevitably going to take place. We are going to wake up. Maybe not in the next 5 minutes, but we will wake up. Perhaps not in the next 4 laws. Perhaps not in the next 8 steps. Perhaps not in the 6 paths or the 7 qualities. But we will wake up. The searching is the search. The light is the way. Oneness is our destination. We are one. We came from one, And we will all return to the one. Period. That's it. Everything else is the experience that we are doing in our own mind and what we are making up, what we are manifesting in our body and through the power of our soul. Start doing life in magnificent and wonderful ways. If you're going to make it up in wonderful and magnificent ways. Because it is. Answer the call. Wake up and never again hit the snooze button. It's life. The danger in any crisis is in pursuing the same course of action. You've heard this before. The danger in any crisis is in pursuing the same course of action. We know this as the definition of insanity. The solution of any problem cannot be found at the level of the mind that made it up in the first place. In the mind of God, there is nothing lost, nothing to be saved. In oneness, there are no answers, only awareness. In oneness, there are no answers, only awareness. If you're seeking out an answer, it's not there. We can only become aware. There is no right and no wrong. There is only diversity. There are no opposites. There are only choices. And regardless, every choice brings us out into life and into the awareness of one. Can you wake up from your dream? Can you be the one searched for in your searching for the one? As soul awareness moves into the foreground of human consciousness, religion, culture, race, and nationality will become symbols of diversity and not forces of separation. When we wake up, we will stop using these aspects of who we are, our religion, our culture, our race, and our nationality as forces of separation. We will recognize them simply as the symbol of our diversity. Shakespeare wrote something about this world being a stage and that we are all actors. If this is so, then perhaps we can better learn our lines. Perhaps we can dress up our characters and play well together for a greater experience. Maybe there can be a little less drama and a bit more comedy. I like to follow the holiness, the Dalai Lama. There must be a lot of comedy playing out in his mind all the time because he's always laughing. A little less drama and a bit more comedy. Maybe we can lighten up on each other. Become less demanding. Perhaps we can share the good more with everyone and be discerning without discriminating. To be okay with your opinion, but not make it about being right or wrong. Diversity is just an opinion. It's not about what's right or what's wrong. Allow for more forgiveness. Saying please, thank you, and excuse me for my awkwardness. Recognize the effort and be less judgmental. Especially when you really can't know the intent and you're only reaching out of your own, reacting out of your own emotion. Most often what we hear is not what's being said. It's what we want to react to. We haven't even allowed the other person to complete their thought. And we're already creating the response that we're going to give because we've already decided what it is that they're going to say. Rules, laws, regulations, they can provide order and direction, but they are not meant to be used to hammer and diminish the light of others. Rules, laws, and regulations. These are tools that we need to learn to use with compassion. Guidance given with unconditional love does not require a return on your investment. Unconditional love does not require a return on your investment. Otherwise, it's not unconditional. If you are expecting a return on the love that you're giving, you've put a condition upon it, and it is no longer unconditional. So I'll close with this. My vacation is overdue. My fuses are fried. My passion is turned down low. I have a return ticket from Europe, so I'm optimistic about my being here in September. I believe that you are being left in good hands with the three musketeers. I mean the three ministers. Reverend Tony, Reverend Mark, and now Reverend. We will have our annual members meeting in September. A new council will be formed, and some great classes are being offered. There is a great awakening taking place within the soul of each and every one. Please answer the call that is yours to do and yours to be. Awaken your inner soul and live this life in every moment, in every way that it shows up, for it is all good. And if you will, repeat after me. There is only one life, and this life is perfect. And this life is God's life. And this life is my life now. And so it is. Namaste.